So it's actually been a little over a month since I've had the iPhone 17 Pro Max. I came from the 14 Pro Max, so I was expecting a good amount of upgrades, but we know how Apple can be sometimes. There wasn't really much of a change, especially even with the camera. All they really did was add this annoying capture button on the side, and yeah, I wish I'd get rid of it. But honestly, aside from the capture button, the 17 seems to be worth it. Let's start with what matters most to me. And less of that post-processy Apple look that we've all grown accustomed to and tried to get rid of. The skin tones look way more natural. The iPhone 14 Pro Max, for me, pushed a little more on the warm side, but I didn't mind that. I kind of prefer the warm tones anyways. But the skin tones themselves look more natural than they do in the 14 Pro Max. They're less of a magenta hue, I've noticed. Especially with any highlight roll-offs. It's more of a smooth highlight roll-off this time around, and it's almost a filmic roll-off. They're using a new sensor in all three cameras, sporting a 48 megapixel sensor this year. Bigger pixel size, better color science, less of that Apple sharpness, and finally, actual contrast that doesn't feel over-processed. The iPhone 14 for me always leaned a bit warm, which I don't mind the warm tones. I actually push my images more to the warm tones anyways, but it was always overly sharp. But now it's got this smooth, almost filmic roll-off. I've shot full short form projects on this phone now. The ProRes and ProRes RAW log in 4K OpenGate, which is insane to have on an iPhone. Or any phone nowadays. With the Lumix S9 that I'm shooting on right now, can shoot in OpenGate 6K, but doesn't have ProRes RAW recording function like my S1H, which also can shoot 6K in OpenGate. The workflow is pretty simple. DaVinci Resolve now supports Apple ProRes RAW, so you can just throw the clips in there, edit the raw files in Resolve. Now this isn't a cinema camera replacement, but I do think it's a good tool for filmmakers and content creators to just consider or even have in their back pocket. No pun intended. And I don't say that lightly. I'm pretty picky about how my footage looked and the image quality of my footage. Okay guys, I know I'm a nobody, but when it comes to image quality, I am actually really picky about it. There are certain drones I don't use. Actually, I don't use a lot of drones at all because I don't like the digital look of it. Or like if it looks too mushy, I just don't like it. It doesn't look good. I have a DJI Mavic Air something, one of the newer ones, and I don't use it as often as I'd like to because I don't like the image quality out of it that much. And even on my iPhone 14 or the 15s, I never really liked the image quality out of it. But Apple did something different this year. I don't know what they did. It's wild. So yeah, anyways, this is just my opinion. This year they introduced Apple Log 2. It stripped away that overly processed look, that plasticky phone look. It's not trying to imitate like camera or like film print look. It has its own look to it. It's close to that digital filmic look that you get in a typical mirrorless camera that shoots in log. And when you combine that with the ProRes RAW, you get some ridiculous flexibility. Now you can only shoot ProRes RAW externally via an SSD plugged into your USB-C port. Lexo actually just released this SSD that plugs straight into the bottom of your phone and is super flush with the phone, doesn't get in the way, there's no cables. And I don't own it yet. I'm actually looking at picking one up here soon. Lexo, if you're watching this, send your boy one. They ain't watching this. I use my standard SSDs here, all Samsung T7s, T5s. And yeah, just plug it in, I'll tape it to my phone, or if I have a cage, I'll mount it to my phone and shoot ProRes RAW. Now there's a catch when using the Blackmagic camera app. First of all, they limit you on the main 3 lenses. You can't pick anything in between, which I kind of find annoying because sometimes I don't want that exact focal length, just something in between. So you only get the 13mm, the 24mm, and then the 100mm. I'll work with what I got, but you can also use the Final Cut Pro app, but I don't really like that app that much. I just tend to stick with the Blackmagic camera app. You also lose all sensor stabilization, so there's no IBIS. So the micro jitters will be there. Unless you have it caged out or if you have super steady hands, it's not super difficult to smooth out in post with DaVinci Resolve or even Premiere Pro's image stabilization. Or if you want, you can attach it to a gimbal and solve your image stabilization problems. But honestly, you can look at it as a blessing in disguise. It forces you to slow down and to shoot more intentionally. The same thing with a cinema camera, the framing, the movement, and where the camera lives in the scene. Most people shoot on their iPhones like an iPhone. Overly quick pans, handheld jitters, the millennial zoom, the Gen Z shake. But once you start treating this thing like an actual camera, that's where the magic happens. And the results are surprisingly good. Okay. Now, I know I've mentioned color grading a lot in this video. I just love color grading, but it's also what makes or breaks the image and the project as well. Aside from audio, audio is very important, but we're not talking about that. Audio, the mic on the iPhone, the scratch audio is pretty good as well. Hey, what are you doing? For my color grade workflow, I use Filmbox. It's a really good film emulator. As you can tell, my work emulates film. I just love the look of film, and I love grading halation. But honestly, what's cool about Filmbox is that you could really just use a single node, adjust some of the raw settings in Premiere or Resolve, and then put Filmbox on there as like the primaries and the look as well. For me personally, I use a 5 to 6 node tree system, which includes a CST, white balance, primaries, HDRs, DCTLs, and then Filmbox with another CST at the end. Design-wise, it's familiar. It's a single body aluminum chassis with a matte glass back for MagSafe charging and other MagSafe accessories. It feels nice to hold, way better than previous gens. The corners don't dig into your hands, the older models, because it's now better curvature to the corners. Curvy. And that super bright 3000 nit XDR display is so nice to use out in the bright sunlight. Except now it's cloudy, so especially if you're shooting in log and you're shooting outside, so you can even review your footage or just use your phone without having to squint at the screen thinking that your brightness is not enough, because we've all been there. Now I expected kind of the bigger sensor and brighter screen to kill the battery, but it's been solid. There's been nights where I haven't charged it overnight and it only drained about 5 to 10% battery. Or even throughout the day of normal wear and tear, or even the days that I'm shooting on the phone and ProRes RAW, it doesn't give out. It's kind of crazy. The battery holds strong and I don't lose a lot of battery life. It's way better than my 14. Thank God, because that battery sucks. I can actually film half a day of footage in 4K ProRes RAW and still have enough juice left over to doom scroll on my phone. Look, the phone is not perfect at all. I know this whole video seems like I'm gassing it up, but that's because it's the first iPhone I think I'm genuinely, truly excited about, especially with the camera. It does scratch very easily, so you gotta be aware of that. If you're gonna rock no case like me, you can fix it by buying the case. And the lack of full manual control in the native camera app still hurts a little bit. Apple, please give us full control in the native camera app. I'm sick of downloading apps. But between the Log 2, the ProRes RAW, and the external recording, this is the closest the iPhone's ever felt like a true cinema camera. And honestly, the restrictions make me feel like a better filmmaker because the shots feel like a choice. So, 2 months later, my honest take. The iPhone 17 Pro Max isn't just an upgrade, it's a creative tool. A cinema and photo camera in your pocket. Now, I came from the 14 Pro Max expecting small steps, and this thing genuinely surprised me. And yeah, it's a little crazy to say, but I'm starting to treat this thing like it's a part of my kit because it earned that spot. Anyways, if you found this video helpful or informative at all, or you just like this style of content, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, and share as well. I plan on posting more iPhone content as well to fulfill you guys' iPhone needs. And also a lot more filmmaking content to come along the way. I got a couple cool tutorials and behind the scenes coming out soon. So stay tuned for that. Turn post notifications on, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. I need my phone. That's a horrible walk-off for a YouTube video. Time to film B-roll.